Hello everybody, I was advised to do another video so that I made sure that I wasn't getting false positives or whatnot. Starting with, this is the metal detector. This is the barcode for the metal detector. I don't know, I've gotten a couple of it, there it goes. Pause that and you can barcode directly to it. Okay, so I will describe everything real quick, and then I will show you with the metal detector. I have two devices in here under my armpits. Next, I believe they're tied into my lungs. I believe that's how they powered it. I mean, for a long time I thought it was watch batteries, but I didn't know about all the electronic devices that were in my body. I only knew of a few of them. I did not know where the power supply or the transceiver was. It wasn't until I bought this device that I discovered these under my armpits. I believe they are tied into my lungs. I thought they were the watches that use movement to charge the batteries, and it still may be because they flood me with adrenaline. I lay in my bed, my limbs flailing for hours sometimes. Yeah, and the brain damage from the blood pressure torture it's doing severe brain damage to me now. I mean, okay, I'm getting off course here. It's called being discombobulated. So, two electronic devices here. I believe they're tied into my lungs to help with the power. I know there's transceiver in my body. This was put in 33 years ago. This is old school tech. I'm sure it's probably encoded even back then, but maybe not. But I don't think the codes would be that hard to break. It is old school tech, 33-year-old tech. Now, they have the devices here. They have uh, um, from these two devices, I believe they have wires going to the earpieces, but I don't know. These could be just completely separate pieces. Regardless, there are speakers underneath each ear, very close to my ear canal. They hit frequencies that are excruciatingly painful. They use subliminal message, audio, and visual so that um, to pulse my blood pressure to 250 over 150. I have videos of it. Most of the torture sessions are about 200 over 125 blood pressure. I have tons of videos of it. Here, um, while I'm talking. Okay, so they have the audio. I think it's tied into the transceivers with a cable. And oh, there's one of the BPs. Let me cycle through a few of them here. There is. There's one that I did was two. I think it was 289 or 286 over 156. It's just freaking believable. Um, 162 over 99. That was a light one. Usually I'm shaking so bad because of their torture sessions that I can't get an accurate recording. I get an error 6 on this all the time. 162 over 104, that is still not the lowest one on here. 189 over 93, that is still not the highest one on here. This 200, there you are, 217 by 214. This was done within the last month, I think. I think that's the one I just did. Well, actually, it was done on, nope, this one was done on 121. My bad. But this is done to me daily. Okay, this is killing me. It is torturing me. So, uh, audio, mental implant, and optical. I believe these also house the video processing unit. I believe that they just have the fiber optic cable going up and poking in my eye. They had to pull my eyes out to poke the fiber optics in. For 2 weeks, I knew they had pulled my eyes out. I knew what had happened to me. I knew it instantly. The first words that I heard using this technology was in the brain, not in the ears. It was not because they used stereo and I thought it was in the head. It was in the brain. It was not in the ears. The first words out of their mouth was, I bet you he doesn't notice anything different. Oh, I noticed. I mean, the sleep in my eyes was so crusted. I had to, for about a week, fumble to the bathroom to wash the sleep out of my eyes because my eyes wouldn't open. Okay, so, and I have video. I have video. I don't know where it's at. I should do another one of those too. I'm sorry. I have video of my eyeballs flashing. I've gone into the dark room. I've done it with the highest resolution of this camera or the other iPhone camera, and got you can literally see the flashing in my eyeballs. And I posted that online. I don't know where it is, but they've come in and they've deleted my hard drive. So I will I'll concentrate on trying to get a more accurate, more detailed picture of the flashing in my eyeballs. But you can come over to my house at any time, and we'll stand in the bathroom. It's really dark in there, and you can watch my eyeballs flash. So audio, eyeball, and the mental part. And I've known it's there all along. The combination of the three devices. I mean, the mental part is two-way comms. It's two-way communication digitally, electronically, but with the brain, with my thoughts. Okay, it's both audio and visual in the brain, or thinking, whatever you. I don't know how to do it. If I picture a rose, then I can transmit that picture of rose to their machine, and whoever has their headset on gets the rose. This is how they have used these three devices to control me, terrorize me, and assault me for decades. Um, I believe this technology was used to, control me, put me in a fugue state, turn me into their electronic puppet. I can prove it. I can work with an electronics team to prove it all. I know I can. I can prove the mental telepathy. That's not hard to do. Copy the signal, retransmit the signal at a certain time, and I'll give you the same results every time. Yeah, completely random on your point. You don't even have to clue me in on that fact, which would clue them in as soon as they know, no, no, no. Anyways, okay, so audio, video, mental chip. Okay, this metal detector does not pick up the audio here. It does not pick up the eyes. Obviously, I believe those are just lenses on the end of a fiber optic. It does pick up the devices under here, and I will show you. I do not have any metal in my body. I should not have any metal in my body, I should say. What I meant to say is I did not put a tack or a pin or a piece of a paper clip under my armpits. I did not lie. I am not lying. I do not have whatever in my hair. I should show you this too. I have not even tried this. Well, you're just going off wrong. Wrong setting, maybe. Okay. So you see it sets off about 5 inches from it. So now it's still doing it. So I don't get the tissue depth thing. Yeah, see, I don't get that part. I don't understand. Maybe it is shielded. I do not know why I can't pick it up by going around my head. I'll take the glasses, the headphones off, and I'll take out the dentures so you can see I do not have any cavities. The dentures are plastic. They are not metal. There is no metal in them. There's no tags, chips, whatever inside my dentures. They're a mismatched pair that have been ground down for years. I can barely chew with them, but I'm sorry, I'm getting off point. So let me show you the 3 devices, and this is what people have been. They've been broadcasting live. They've told an immense amount of lies about me. They've conned everybody to help them. So far, they've had 30 doctors lie to me about the technology, and I've gone to 30 different doctors in the past 3 years. Now, they kept me programmed and brainwashed. Their brainwashing is a combination of the devices, terrorizing, excruciating pain, subliminally message-induced adrenaline, and subliminally message-induced rage. Now, it looks and sounds like a temper tantrum. In the beginning, They would make me throw these temper tantrums, and they would have me recite the lines. They wanted me to recite word for word. So if any of you have any of the videos of my torture sessions, please, it is evidence. It is evidence of torture. And I know people out there have video clips of me because I was being broadcasted. Okay, and any of the audio clips, any of the audios, I'll take them. I'll take them all. Hey, I'm looking for help here, people. I've for 30 years, they tortured me so badly, and kept me so brainwashed. Um, they do those temper tantrums for 4 to 10 hours at a time. Sometimes they only last a few minutes. And lately, they've been doing so much brain damage. I go into convulsions. I've collapsed, gone into convulsions. I believe I had a heart attack once. I'm getting strong chest pains. I know I have 3 points on my brain where the torture tantrums, when they were getting them up to the 250 range, caused a firecracker to go off here, and permanent pain and pressure. A firecracker to go out back here, and permanent pain and pressure, and then what felt like a firecracker going off here. A sharp bam of pain, and then pain and pressure. And I think this is the worst pain, second worst. I haven't felt these very often lately because of the damage they did to my spine. I will explain that too. Um, um, I think, okay, I honestly believe this technology was used in mass murders. I honestly believe it was used to force people to commit mass murders. I honestly believe this because it is the training that I was given. It is the format I was programmed with. It is what they tried to get me to do. I mean, suicide and murder. Suicide and murder. Those have been just every day for decades, at least a couple times a day. I put to, and they did it. They did it hardcore to me in the beginning, and I couldn't stop them. They were trying to get me used to going out killing people and then killing myself when it came down to it. Or they prefer, since I'm not suicidal, they prefer the homicide by suicide scenario with local law enforcement. So go murder people and then go take on the cops and die that way. This is almost a daily scenario forced into me. One night they did 200 suicides, audio and visual, trucks into pylons, hangings, stabbings, gunshots, electrocutions, jumping up. I mean, Jesus Christ. It was ridiculous. 200 in one night. So this is what the technology. Now, I know this technology is amazing. I know if they would have tied me into the computer, the voice recognition alone, I could have been amazing. Elon Musk ain't got shit on this technology, I swear. I swear it's all provable, and I need the help to prove it. 30 years they kept me so brainwashed and programmed and controlled. They beat me 4 to 10 hours at a time sometimes. Usually they're just out. Brief pulses of pain like this, left ear, out. But they can make them last for hours. And look, the shaking's getting worse because, boy, blood pressure's going up. The tongue gets thick in my mouth. I start sounding like I have Down syndrome. Okay, so let me show you the electronic devices. Oh, I'll go one further. Um, Glasses off, headset off. I think you can still hear me. Sorry, and I know I'm loud. I know I scream. I'd really love to edit these videos, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be murdered before I have the chance to do so. So I'm even taking off my shirt, and I will show you. All right, if you want to look, there's nothing near me. I mean, there's nothing close enough to me to set off the metal detector. Here, let me. I'm sorry about it. I don't know why I'm apologizing. Okay. Nothing around me. Okay. Chair isn't close enough to set it off. No glasses. No headphones. I do not know why it does not pick up. I figured, that the technology is shielded or something. I know that the audio, that maybe this is picking up the audio implants, but not the metal implant. I don't know. Well, I will explain about the metal implant real quick. But first, that's one of their power supplies or the transceiver, whatever. I think they have two of them tied into my lungs for power. Here's the other one. I've repeatedly asked for scans of these areas, and they have. Kaiser Permanente has repeatedly denied me, covered up these electronic devices, terrorized me. I asked for an x-ray of my head. Yes, for the brain chip, but mainly for the brain bleeds that I have. They're doing damage to me, and I need that. And Kaiser Permanente just keeps covering it up. I specifically wanted this area. And the recent scans, they did not use the machine that I specifically requested. They treated me like I was, the technician treated me like I had just raped her baby and murdered her mother. She was polite, but disrespectful. And she did not give me the machine I wanted. She did not give me the scans I wanted. She did not give me the scans I needed. It was like she had been instructed, once again, on how to handle me, on exactly where to focus the scans and whatnot, and she completely avoided this area. So there's those implants. Let's turn this off. There's that one, that one. I'll take out the dentures. They are plastic. They are no metal in them, but I there's no, look, you either believe me or don't. There's no metal in my mouth. If you don't believe me, but still would like to investigate, hey, come on over. I'll show you 1,000 times. Set me up with an x-ray machine. I'll show you 1,000 times. Come stand in my bathroom. We'll watch the flashing in the mirror of my eyes. Or just look in my eye. Oh, and I have a picture of the flashing. Not only video, but an optometrist at it's a further way. I can't remember the other. But he got a picture of it flashing in my eye when they did the picture. They blow air on you and take a picture. And at the time I was being sleep deprived. I think I was on a few days of sleep deprivation. So they had to maintain the adrenaline, which means they had to every few seconds or few minutes do something. And he got a picture of the actual flash. So the evidence is there. And I'm tired. They're beating me to death. I am tired. Alright, so I don't know why this does not pick up anywhere else. I do not know. Okay. Oh. I never got that before. Well, I don't think it's the ear. It might be. But every time, I know it's from the chip in the brain. Every time. Now, I believe that they've used this technology in people to commit mass murder. I believe the FBI has covered it up. They covered me up. I am one of them, okay? I'm one of them that was supposed to commit mass murder. And when I didn't, they used me as a platform to train their operators on. There are now hundreds of operators. I know this because of all the different colloquialisms, personalities, characters, habits, even nicotine cravings that they have come through. They have trained hundreds of people on me. That means there are hundreds of devices out there, and how many more of them are like me, resistant to being forced to commit mass murder or heinous crimes or whatever the fuck they're framing me for this time. And then how many of those people are being trained on? I mean, well, we could be at thousands and thousands, and this is the sad part. All along, it was colloquialisms from around America. All along, until recently, and now I've been hearing colloquialisms from other countries, like bin instead of garbage can. So I know they're training people and I know how the format goes. I know how it goes, how fast they're putting people through. I know pretty much. I got a good idea of how they're the trainee before they get to me, advised, instructed using the devices between the boss and the trainee. The trainee is then put on me to practice for I don't know how fucking long. And then he becomes the next step, and it just, that cycle just keeps going, and then he's taken out and moved to wherever in the United States that the targeted individual that they put these implants into will be controlled. The other thing that's scary about this is they kept me brainwashed and programmed for 30 years. I couldn't talk to any of it. I couldn't say a word about it for 30 years. They had a doctor. Oh, and another thing they've done, a lot of torture, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. They would torture me and see whether or not I would say something about it. They literally shoved, they had a doctor. They had they had me jumping off a bridge. They were trying to fuck up my back, and so they had me jumping off a bridge. And they did. They fucked up my back very bad. But I fucked up my knee as well. And the surgery to repair the torn cartilage apparently needed 3 tubes put under my kneecap. And when I went in there to have the surgery done, this was completely not necessary, but this is how on board the physicians have been for decades. They had 3 big boys hold me down. There was an anesthesiologist, 3 big guys, the surgeon. I think there was somebody else back to my right I did not see. They had an overwhelmingly large movie camera. I mean, at that time we were, I think we were DVDs, so I didn't understand how they had a camera that looked like, I mean, it did those big cassettes, you know, the old-fashioned big cassettes. That was set up to observe it. I think it was really set up there as a prop to try to get me to say, see, they had a video of it, I know it, whatever, that scenario. But the point is they held me down, and this doctor shoved a tube under my kneecap without any anesthesia, no local, no nothing. He then looked at me and waited till I understood that it was intentional. I looked him right in the eye, and then after he knew, he then shoved another one underneath my kneecap. He then looked at me again to verify again that yes, it was intentional and malicious. He then shoved a third one under my kneecap. He then looked at me and made sure that I knew, again, it was malicious and intentional. And then after I recognized it for the third time, I couldn't stop recognizing it. I'm in pain. And only after the third one did he nod, and I recognized that he was looking at me directly in the eye, that he nodded. The anesthesiologist, and they put me out. That was not necessary. That whole thing was to see whether or not I would tell anybody about the pain I was subjected to. I could not. I was subliminally messaged to keep my mouth shut. So that's how overwhelming this is. It took me 30 years to start to break the programming. It took me 30 years to start to talk to people. And when I tried to tell my own mother what was going on, they tortured the living fuck out of me. They tortured me until I shit myself. They tortured me in my shit while my mother was dying. Those are the facts. I could have been at her bedside. I could have gone to her funeral. I was not allowed. She was in the hospital just a couple miles away from me. I was not allowed. This is how controlling it is. As well, I have been electronically imprisoned. I am allowed out about once a month. Every couple months or so, I might be allowed twice a month, but only pretty much in the same, 2 days beside each other. I'm ranting and raving about okay, I'm electronically imprisoned. I'm not allowed to leave my apartment. I'm not allowed. I'm beaten. I'm terrorized. I am subliminally messaged not to exit the door. I have garbage from a month packing up by the door like I always do. I keep it clean and neat, but I should be allowed to take my garbage 100 feet to a goddamn garbage can. I should be allowed to walk the block to the grocery store to get the necessary things I need instead of having to pay for delivery of rotten vegetables, moldy bread, and meat that smelled like it turned 3 weeks ago. I am being terrorized. I can prove it. I need people to help me prove it. So, for starters, I'm going at people with the attorneys. I can prove there is metal in my body. I can prove the MRIs were falsified. That means I can prove without a shadow of a fucking doubt my records were doctored. People are lying to me. And Kaiser Permanente has been the dominant organization in covering up the torture, the terrorism, the brutal abuse, the programming, the brainwashing, the electronic devices which are used to electronically imprison me, control me, and terrorize me. When I started to understand that other people, that I knew they were pumping people through me. I've known that for a long fucking time. I just could never do anything about it. Well, now I'm finally able to talk about it, and I'm begging people for help. This is happening 24 hours a day, which means the signal can be copied 24 hours a day. It can be traced 24 hours a day. Whether you have the codes or not, keep in mind, this tech is 33 years old. 1991 was when they put it in. That is old school cell phone tech. That is old school satellite tech if it's a satellite phone. But regardless, the transceiver is 24 hours a day. That means it can be copied. That means it can be traced. As well, even if you don't have the codes, you can copy the signal during a torture session, then retransmit the signal to prove that the torture session is real. I'm doing the best I can. Okay, so I know I can sue doctors for violating my civil rights, blatantly violating my medical rights, violating my civil rights. I can prove that. I can prove that in a court of law. I can prove it now with this right here. Just with this, I can sue 4 different MRI imaging companies. 4. Valley Medical, Kaiser Permanente, the University of Washington, and I think 2 are that Kaiser Permanente, actually. So, there it is. No metal, no. Sorry for taking so long to show you the torture. As soon as I meant to say this last part, I'm sorry for taking so long. I really am. It happened last year, I think, or the year before. It was in my videos. I do not know if I still have it. I managed to get a whole bunch of videos that were online. I have thousands of hours, okay? I have thousands of hours of torture on video. I know they've come in and they've deleted my hard drives at least once, maybe more. I'm not even bothering to check anymore. They have all my passwords. They hack into my account, so if you're responding, good luck. I mean, I am responding to some people, but they pretty much censor me and edit out anybody that has the ability to help me, or anybody that believes me, or that has any resources that may be able to help me. I'm not asking for money. I'm asking for an electrician that will work with me to prove this. I'm asking for an attorney that will work with me to sue these people and prosecute the people that have tortured me. I'm looking for a doctor that will be honest, that will work with me to show the scams. I am not asking for money. I have a little bit, but not much. And I've already dumped thousands of dollars into trying to prove this, while people have mocked me, tampered with the evidence, terrorized me, had a fun time. They showed me images of a woman's skull, claiming it was mine with no implants in it and no damage. And they laughed. They were laughing while they were doing it. They were literally laughing while they were doing it. So I said, then bring me an ultrasound scanner, the kind they use for pregnancies, the kind they use for hearts. Bring me an ultrasound scanner. I will show you the devices right now in real time. And they laughed. The doctor told me, and we're not ready for that yet. and her PA told me ultrasound scans do not penetrate the skin. I asked for a different doctor. When I told him about this, he repeatedly insisted that the male and female skulls are exactly alike. There is no difference. I knew without doing the research. I used to have a really high IQ as a kid. I did a lot of reading encyclopedias and psych book and dictionary even. I had a dictionary. Hey, it was the 70s and we had nothing to read. So, and my mom didn't like us to go to the library because there were too many lies in the library, the mysteries, the spiritual books. If it wasn't the Bible, we weren't allowed to read it. It wasn't a government-approved encyclopedia. Anyway, I'm getting off target again. I'm sorry. The point is I don't know where I was. See, they audially, visually, mentally distract me. So that's why these videos take so long. Plus, it's usually during a torture session and the blood pressure is really high. Anyways, when I understood that these were probably being used, I'm pretty sure they're being used in the mass murders around America. Now, I need you to keep this format into two perspectives. When I figured it out, they tried to murder me. Okay, they cut my brake lines, they tampered with my ignition, they fucked with my brother's car when I borrowed it to go to Kaiser Permanente. I think that was, well, it doesn't matter. I will tell you about the surgery as well. Why not? I'm already fucked. They tried to kill me. They force-fed me garbage. I can explain the whole scenario, how it went down, how they laughed, how they mocked me, how they ridiculed me, how they terrorized me, how they bragged while I was eating the COVID-tainted garlic and licking my fingers and making sure to eat it raw, how they bragged how they were force-feeding me COVID. And I was in a fugue state. I was forced to eat the COVID. I was forced to. The reason they used it, I'm not even going to go into that. I can explain it all if somebody wants to, I'll explain it all in court. I'll explain it all a million fucking times. Give me a lie detector shoved up my asshole and a truth serum shoved down my gullet, and I will give you the same goddamn answer every single fucking time. Okay, so when they force-fed me the COVID, once the fever took root. Now, I'd had COVID earlier that year, and I flew through it in like 4 days. Flew through it. Just mild flu symptoms for 2 of the days, I think. And 4 or 5 days tops. This time, as soon as the fever hit, they used sleep deprivation. They used adrenaline and pain to keep me awake. I think sometime I thought about calling an ambulance because I was already 4 days down into a hardcore fever, forced to stay awake 4 days and nights. And they were running pain up and down my spine. And I had not felt this pain before. This pain was different. They have been using psychological pain, emotional pain, social pain, sexual pain, and audio pain. Excruciatingly severe audio pain. There are thousands of videos showing me screaming in terror and pain, begging people for help. Sorry, they're terrorizing me right now. So I'm dumping fluids. My body temperature's high. My blood pressure's high. I keep forgetting there's no reason to do it. I showed you some of them. You want the proof? Come collect it. Okay, so this pain is different. This pain, it feels like it comes from the middle of my back. I don't know if you can see. It feels like it comes from here, and then as it goes up my back, right under the shoulder blades, it branches out like a tree all the way up to my neck, to the top of my neck. When they use this device, I believe it's running voltage through my spine. I actually believe it's running voltage through my spine. That's what it feels like. It feels like it's originating at the bottom, but I can't get a metal detector to pick anything up there. I did have, ever since they did surgery on me, I have a pinch right here. I believe that might be the device, or It might be the brain device that they have with multiple capabilities. I don't think so. I don't think they'd tie the two together, but I don't know. I'm willing to be experimented on. The point is the pain is so overwhelming. It is immobilizing. They electrified my spine. I could not move. Everything from waist up felt like I was in a crick in the neck times 100. Everything. Not just a crick in the neck, everything. Every little muscle. Everything. All I could do was lay there and scream. I couldn't do anything else but lay there and scream. I had to slide out of bed at 2 miles an hour, literally, while holding my head because my neck muscles caused excruciating pain if I tried to use them. So I had to use my hands to try to hold my head up until I can get it balanced, because any little bit of movement, it is crick in the neck on your whole upper body times 100. It is excruciatingly painful. All you can do is scream. This is what they forced me to endure while going through 4 days and nights of sleep deprivation with a COVID fever. After 4 days and nights, I finally passed out. When I came to, I was then subjected to another 4 days and nights of the same shit while they extended the damn fever. They tried to murder me, and I cannot prove it. But I can prove that the electrical device is there. I can prove they ran voltage through my spine from the ENT test I plan on taking compared to the ENT test of my spine done 10 years ago. I can prove it because the electronic device is inside of my body. And I can prove it was put there with malicious intent, with the intention of causing pain and immobilizing me to control me. And I'm sorry I'm screaming. I'm sorry I'm screaming. Please help me. They are murdering me. And nobody gives a fuck. Everybody keeps thinking I'm lying or it's a game. I have the hardware of mind control in my body and nobody wants it. It's like everybody's more concerned about DEW weapons and V2K and microwave. Well, that's a DEW weapon. I have the evidence of 33 years of torture. Electronic torture. It may not be a DEW. It may not be a V2K. But Jesus fucking Christ, they are killing me. Jesus Christ. Imagine having this put into your child, okay? Imagine that child being groomed. Got the good angel on this kid. Imagine another child. They got the bad devil in that. Raised to think that this voice in your mind is benevolent or evil is just fucking wrong. The fact that they can put you into a fugue state and force you to do something like kill your classmates is fucking wrong. This is what I believe. I believe they put this in a couple of the mass murderers who then were terrorized and tortured. I know what it's like to stand in front of your mommy screaming in your mind that I need to tell her how bad they're hurting me, how bad they're terrorizing me, how bad they're programming me to commit murder and suicide. But I can't. I couldn't. That was before the brain damage. All I can do is stand there with my mouth shut and not say a word. Terrorized. I couldn't tell my own fucking mommy. So don't tell me this isn't controlling fugue state technology. They have forced me to drink. They have forced me to do drugs. They forced me to commit crimes. They forced me to lie to my little brother to try and cheat my little brother, and I never would have ever. I protected him the best I could my whole life, and there's nothing I would have done wrong. Instead, he put his trust into a friend who then robbed him of almost $250,000, and nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. And the FBI has done everything in their power to make goddamn sure I'm not allowed to show this or tell this to the world. I am not the only one out there with this technology in them. Mine may be 33 years old, but it is still working just as fine as the first fucking day. Which means modern versions of this technology, which are even harder to find, and probably more control. I honestly believe it was used to force people to commit mass murders against their own citizens, their own friends, and nobody will let me prove it.